to the camp. Allahu Akbar. It is at that moment when he stood in despair, a wicked man came from behind and hit him with a metal pole on his head. Abbas then fell to the ground. I ask you, ya mu'mineen, when someone falls, what do they do to shield their face from the fall? If you have no hands, what do you do? Abbas fell to the ground. عمد الحديد بكربلاء خسف القمر. Abbas called out, أخي أدرك أخاك. Brother, come to your brother. Imam Hussain rushed to his brother Abbas, causing the enemy troops to flee from him. He chased after them, saying, إِلَىٰ أَيْنَ تَفِرُّونَ وَقَدْ قَتَلْتُمْ أَخِي. Where do you flee when you have just killed my little brother? When Hussein approached him, Abbas was lying on the sand, an arrow planted deep in his eye, another in his chest. Hussein cried out, أخي أبا الفضل الآن انكسر ظهري. My back is now broken. They say from that moment on, they could sense the break in Abu Abdullah's back. It was never straightened after Abbas. الآن انكسر ظهري وقلت حيلتي. Imam Hussain also said one more thing. وشمت بي عدوي. Do you know what that means? When Imam al-Hussein was crying over his brother Abbas, the enemy surrounded them. They began to cheer and clap. They were laughing, saying, لقد قتلنا العباس. Imam Hussain said, Abbas, my enemy is delighted now. My enemies rejoiced. The defender of Hussein is dead. Saqi al-Utasha is dead. وشمت بي عدوي من للفواطم بعدك. Who will protect the women after you? Hussein then went back to the camp all alone, wiping his tears with his shirt sleeve so the women don't see Abu Abdullah crying. He was wiping his tears with his shirt sleeve. The women rushed to him and asked him about their uncle. Zainab said, where is my brother, Ya Abu Abdullah? Where is our brother Abbas? Hussein didn't say a word. He headed towards the tent of Abbas. He removed the pillar from the tent, letting it fall to the ground, meaning Abbas is gone. Oh Zainab, يقلها يا زينب راح عباس وراح الضغم اللي يرفع الراس. Zainab and the women screamed, وأخاه وعباساه وضيعتنا بعدك. How lost are we after you? Abu Abdullah echoed that statement. He also said, وضيعتنا بعدك. We are truly lost after you. After the death of Abbas, Imam Hussain was left without any supporters. He looked around and saw nothing but dead bodies around him. He kept on saying, ألا هل من ناصر ينصرنا. Before Imam al-Hussein said his last farewell, he asked his sister Zainab to bring him his infant Abdullah al-Radi', who was just 6 months old. When he saw how the child was dying of thirst, Hussein took his child and headed towards the enemy and said, Ya qawm, qad qataltum akhi wa awladi wa ansari. You have killed my brother, you have killed my sons and my companions. وَمَا بَقِيَ غَيْرُ هَذَا الطِّفْلِ. All I have left is this boy. وهو يتلظى عطشا من غير ذنب أتاه إليكم. He is dying of thirst and he hasn't committed any crime towards you. فاسقوه شربة من الماء أجركم الله يا صاحب الأمر. The enemy was then split. A few said feed him, while others said لا تبقوا لأهل هذا البيت من باقية. Do not spare any member of this household. Fearing dissent and insurrection in his camp, Umar looked to his chief archer Harmala. He said to him, اقطع نزاع القوم. Put an end to this disagreement. Put an end to this dispute. Harmala knew what his commander was asking of him, so he took a 3-pronged arrow that was used for hunting wild animals, and he put it in the bow, directed it in the direction of Ali al-Asghar. أيوا حسينا وغريبا ومظلوما. He shot the young infant boy. When it struck the boy's soft neck, it severed his head from the jugular vein to the jugular vein. رحم الله من نادى وحسينا وغريبا وسيدا. The infant fluttered for a moment in his father's hands, his blood gushing from his throat before wilting and freezing. As Hussein looked on, Hussein called out, هَوَّنَ مَا نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. What makes this bearable is that it is in God's sight. The father then scooped the blood of the son. He threw the child's blood towards the sky and saying, إلهي إن كان هذا يرضيك فخذ حتى ترضى. Oh Lord, if this pleases you, then take until you are pleased. Hussein then took the slaughtered child to the camp. He went behind a tent, prayed on his dead son, then dug a small grave with the tip of his sword and buried him in his blood-soaked garment. Imam al-Hadi says in the Ziyaratul Jami'ah, As-salamu ala Abdullah ibn al-Hussein. A special salam to the youngest of Hussein's soldiers. A special salam to the greatest of the martyrs of Karbala. As-salamu ala Abdullah ibn al-Hussein, الطفل الرضيع المرمي الصريع المتشحط دما المصعد دمه في السماء المذبوح بالسهم في حجر أبيه. How small must a child be for an arrow to slaughter him from ear to ear? لعن الله رامي حرملة بن كاهل الأسدي وذويه. Imam was now all alone. He had no choice but to charge at the enemy by himself. He is described as such. كان آيسا من الحياة. He had lost all hope in this life. They attacked him, but Hussein would defend defend his camp while saying, أنا الحسين بن علي آليت ألا أنثني أحمي عيالات أبي أمضي على دين النبي. I am Hussein, son of Ali. I vow not to bow down. I am defending my family. I follow the religion of the Prophet. Abdullah ibn Ammar says, I have never seen a bereaved and grief-stricken man who has witnessed the murder of all of his children and companions, bearing the sorrow of all calamities, yet is more steadfast, brave, and courageous than Hussein, so much so that no one dared stand in his way. Hussein challenged the enemy to come and fight with him. Whoever came forward to confront him was sent to hell by Hussein's sword. So Umar ordered his troops to attack him from all directions. He said, احملوا عليه من كل جانب. يا صاحب الزمان يا حجة ابن الحسن. While there were other people in Hussein's camp, the enemy was split. They would attack this companion and that companion. But when Hussein was left alone, 30,000 of them converged on one man, on Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. رحم الله من نادى وحسينا. With your loudest voice, وغريبا ومظلوما. Thousands of enemy troops launched collective attacks against Hussein, but he fought such that they fled from him like a flock of goats fleeing from a lion. So the archers then came forward. They shot 4,000 arrows at Abu Abdullah. أيوة حسينا. Imam al-Sadiq says that the body of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein resembled a hedgehog. How many arrows pierced the body of your master, ya mu'mineen? They prevented the Mawla from reaching his family, who were now crying and sobbing. Wa abata wa akha. They needed to see Abu Abdullah one more time. But the Imam was prevented from going. So he said to them, O followers of Abu Sufyan and his family, I am the one fighting you and you are fighting me. So keep your people away from my family while I am still alive. Come and get me. Leave them alone. He returned to his camp one last time. This time was the final farewell, so he called out, Ya Sukaina, Ya Rabab, Ya Zainab, Ya Kulthum, Ya Ruqayya, هذا آخر الوداع. This is the final farewell. The women gathered around him and started wailing and sobbing aloud. Imagine your father coming and telling you, this is the last time we meet. We shall meet in paradise. Be patient after my death. You have many tragedies awaiting you, many calamities coming your way. As he was about to leave, he heard a faint voice calling him from behind. Mahlan, mahlan, Ya Hussain, Ya ibn al-Zahra. Wait up, brother, wait up, wait. There's one more thing I have to do. Abu Abdullah looked back. He saw his sister Zainab. She asked him to dismount his horse. She needs to do one last thing. It was her mother's dying wish. Fatima had told her, Zainab, I won't be there in Karbala. أفاطم لو خلت الحسين مجدلا وقد مات عطشانا بشط فراتي إذا للطمت الخد فاطم عنده. Ya Fatima al-Zahra, what would happen to you if you were there in Karbala? Zainab, you will be my representative. I want you to do something before your brother goes. Imam Hussain dismounted his horse. Zainab came forward and she kissed his throat and his chest. It's the day of Ashura. If I don't say this today, when will I say it? You all know Imam Hussain was not slaughtered from the neck. They slaughtered him from the back. Why would Zainab kiss the throat of Abu Abdullah? I'll just give you one word. One word. Karbala had 3 arrows he used on the day of Ashura. One was with Ali al-Asghar. The other he used against Abbas. And the third he used it on that neck of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. رحم الله من نادى وحسينا ومظلوما وغريبا. The Imam proceeded toward the battlefield. أيا مؤمنين يا شيعة أبي عبد الله. Confronted with an army of 30,000 men, he looked right and left, searching for helpers, only to find his companions slain like sacrificial lambs. نظر يمينا وشمالا فلم ير إلا من صافح التراب جبينا. فنادى, the Imam called out, يا أبطال الصفا ويا فرسان الهيجة, O heroes of the battlefield, O knights of warfare, ما لي أناديكم فلا تجيبون. Why do I call on to you but you do not answer? If you are asleep, then I beseech you to wake up. These are the women of the Prophet. They have been bereaved for your loss. Please rise, O noble ones, and protect the progeny from the wicked tyrants. Alas, death has prevailed over you, or else you would have supported me. ثم نادى بصوت حزين يقطع القلب. They say Abu Abdullah then called out with a voice that tore people's hearts. He said, Ya Habib ibn Mudahir, Ya Muslim ibn Awsajah, يا زهير بن القين، يا نافع بن هلال، يا برير، يا Zuhair. Imam al-Baqir says their bodies began to shake as though they were saying, Ya Aba Abdullah, just give us permission and we'll come back to life to defend you. Give us your word, Ya Aba Abdullah. We promise that if we were to die 1,000 times, we would still protect you. Then the Imam said, Ala hal min nasirin yansuruna. ألا هل من ذاب يذب عنا. The intense crying of the women and children reached a new peak. Hussein's eldest son Sajjad, who was ill, saw his father covered with the blood of Abbas, Qasim, Zuhair, Muslim and Habib and others. He suddenly stood up while leaning on a stick and dragging his sword. Hussein shouted, my sister Zainab, keep him. احبسيه لئلا ينقطع نسل آل Muhammad. The enemy then continuously launched collective attacks on Aba Abdullah. The Imam would repeatedly say, لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Umar ibn Sa'd yelled, woe unto you, attack him while he is busy with his family. They charged at him, raining him with arrows. Imam Hussain attacked the enemy like a roaring lion, but he received many wounds all over his body. 30,000 men were now all attacking one man. Ajarakumullah ya مؤمنين. فوقف ليستريح ساعة. The Imam stopped for a second to take a rest. He was weakened by his thirst, all the wounds and his grief. Our Imam paused to rest for a moment. Suddenly a tyrant named Abu al-Hutuf hurled a rock in the direction of Aba Abdullah. Ajarakumullah ya mu'mineen. The rock hit the Imam on his blessed forehead, causing the blood to stream down his face. Aba Abdullah took his shirt, he lifted it so that he could wipe the blood off of his blessed face. That's when Karbala shot the Imam with an arrow. The arrow landed in his heart. It came out the other end. Wa Husayna. He shot him with a three-headed arrow which struck our Imam, piercing his chest, going straight through his heart. Aba Abdullah cried out, Bismillah wa billah wa ala millati Rasulillah. He then raised his head towards the sky and said, Oh Lord, Ilahi innaka ta'lamu annahum, you know they are killing a man who there is none other on the face of this earth, who is a son of the daughter of a prophet. Save him. He pulled out the arrow, causing the blood to gush out. He took a handful of blood and stained his beard, saying, This is how I want to meet my grandfather. هكذا ألقى الله وجدي رسول الله وأنا مخضب بدمي. Due to the constant attacks, our master Hussein fell to the ground from the back of the horse. Aywa Husseina. Without lifting his head, a man then approached Aba Abdullah and began cursing him. He then approached to strike the Imam with his sword. أجركم الله يا مؤمنين. One of Imam Hassan's orphaned boys is Abdullah ibn al-Hassan. Imam Hussain had told his sister Zainab to hold his hand and to never let go. Abdullah is too weak. He can't look at his uncle in the killing pit and not do something about it. He said, hold on to him. As Lady Zainab was watching Abu Abdullah, for a second she lost control. She raised her hands and placed him on her head. Sallallahu alayk ya Rasulallah. When she left the boy's hand, the boy found his chance and ran towards Abu Abdullah. Imam Hussain never said to hold Ruqayya or Sakina or anybody else, but with Abdullah, Imam Hussain was the one who raised him. Since he was only 1 year old, he was also the orphan of Imam al-Hassan. Imam Hussain said to his sister, Ihbisi, hold him, but she couldn't do that. Ajarakum Allah ya mu'mineen. The boy ran towards his uncle Hussein to shield him from that wicked man. He sat in his uncle's lap. When the man came to strike Abu Abdullah, Abdullah ibn al-Hassan screamed, Ataqtulu ammi ibn al-Khabitha? Son of the wicked woman, you want to kill my uncle over my dead body? So instead of striking Hussein, he struck the boy on his arm. He left his arm dangling by the skin. He looked at his uncle. He said, Amma qata'u yamini. Uncle, look at what they did. They cut my arm off. Then Harmala approached and shot this boy with an arrow, killing him in his uncle's lap. وبقي الحسين مطروحا على الأرض مليا. Imam Hussain is now fatally wounded. يا صاحب العصر والزمان آجرك الله. He was left lying for some time. What prevented them from finishing him off sooner was the fact that every tribe was relying on the other to do so. Shimr yelled, why are you standing like this? The man is critically wounded. Attack him from every angle. ما وقوفكم وما تنتظرون. What are you waiting for? One man said, I was standing near Hussein as he was on the brink of death. By God, I never saw a person getting killed, soaked in his blood, in a better state than Hussein. His face was luminous. I was so overwhelmed by the radiance of his face that I refrained from contemplating killing him. He then asked for some water. He said, وحق جدي أنا عطشان. By my grandfather Rasulullah, I'm thirsty. But they did not give him any water to drink. One man said, I came to kill him. He looked me in the eye. His eyes were exactly like the eyes of Rasulullah. The Imam then said to them, I am thirsty. One from amongst the crowd said to him, you are not going to drink until you enter the hellfire. Then you can drink from its boiling water. The Imam replied, I will enter the hellfire. No, by God, I shall enter onto my grandfather, the messenger of God, and stay with him in a seat of honor with the most powerful king. I will then complained to him of that which you have done to me and your transgression against me. When they heard this, the enemy became furious, as if God did not instill a grain of mercy in their heart. Now Umar ibn Sa'd, with a group of soldiers, is approaching the scene as Abu Abdullah was at the point of death. Ya mu'mineen ajarakum Allah, فحملوا عليه من كل جانب. They all attacked him from every direction. Imam Sadiq describes this scene. He says a group approached him with their swords, another with their spears, another group had nothing but rocks and sticks. They all attacked your Mawla Abu Abdullah. The Imam says, فكانت الضربة على الضربة والطعنة على الطعنة. Every stab wound was on top of another stab wound. Every strike came on top of another strike. One man came and hit him on the shoulder. Another one came forward with his bow and arrow. He shot Abu Abdullah at close range. أيوا ويلاه ومصيبته رحم الله من نادى وحسينا. Lady Zainab was watching all of this. She cried out, Ya Umar ibn Sa'd, أيقتل أبو عبد الله وأنت تنظر إليه? How could Hussein be killed while you're staring at him? Why are you watching this? Have you no heart? تقل الشمر بالله دخيلي يا ظالم خلي خويا حسين ساعة. Lady Zainab then put her both hands over her head. She then said, ليت السماء أطبقت على الأرض. May the heavens fall onto the ground. ليت الموت أعدمني الحياة. I wish I were dead. I wish I never saw this. Shimr began going towards Abu Abdullah. As he headed towards the Imam, Zainab pleaded with him, stop, don't go. What are you doing? He came to your Mawla, O Shi'a of Hussein. When he came to the Imam, he first began kicking him. He then turned the Imam on his face, sat on his back, pulled out his dagger. Hussein, 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 Hussein. كربلاء لا زلتي كربا وبلاء. كربلاء لا زلتي كربا وبلاء. كربلاء لازلت كربا وبلاء. ما لقي عندك آل المصطفى. ما لقي عندك آل المصطفى. كربلاء لازلت كربا وبلاء. ما لقي عندك آل المصطفى. كم على تربك لما صرعوا. كم على تربك لما صرعوا. من دم سال ومن حنجرة. كربلاء لازلت كربا وبلاء. كربلاء لازلت كربا وبلاء. Karbala, what grief you have given us. Karbala, what grief you have given us. Blood of Hussain, Akbar and Abbas. Karbala, lazilti karban wa bala. Karbala, lazilti karban wa bala. Fatima's crying and so is heaven. Fatima's crying and so is heaven. The men were not spared, not even. The men weren't spared, not even the children. Karbala, lazilti karban wa bala. 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 Karbala, lazilti karban wa bala.
लाश अकबर पे शाह जब पहुँचे, दिल को हाथों में था।